Hey, welcome to the channel. My name is Eric, and today we're going to talk about diagnosing something versus fixing. And that's what I think separates me from the majority of the channels. A lot of people are showing you how to fix something, but a lot of times, if you're having problems here, it's not because of here, it's because of somewhere else in the system. And what I try to focus on is teaching you guys how to rule out stuff that it could be instead of just rushing and doing it. And one of the videos that has really caught on, and thank you guys that are watching it, was the one on the PTO. And it sounds like a lot of you are having problems with your PTO. And the first line of logic in the fix it stage is okay, let me get on eBay and order a PTO clutch, or call up my local repair shop and have them order in a PTO clutch. If you use the same methodology that we use here, and that is we go from the cheapest fix to the most expensive fix. And what I can tell you with over 25 years in the business is that it's rarely what the issue is. If your PTO clutch isn't working, 9 times out of 10, it's somewhere over here and not your clutch. I guess is what I'm getting at. So that's what we're going to talk about today. I'm just going to kind of do an adjunct because I'm still getting questions on people having problems with their PTO clutches. All right. The biggest thing going with PTO clutches is you can buy a fairly cheap multimeter from Harbor Freight, Temu, uh, eBay, Amazon. And what we want to do, if we're having issues with the PTO slowing down or not starting, the one thing that we can do to start ruling it out is we can use the jumper cables and put the positive on here and negative on here. You can use a battery too, guys. You don't need a jump pack. But if you put either one on the positive and either one on the negative, you'll hear that click. And that's all it is. It's an electromagnetic piece of equipment that once you engage the power to it, it starts grabbing hold. Okay. So that's the one test that I do. I if it doesn't have the whip on it, it usually has a plug-in, but you can still get at it. All right, the second step that I do to eliminate this is I do an ohms test. And what's an ohms test? Just set your multimeter to ohms, and by putting it on one and then the other, what you're doing is checking to see if you have continuity going through that system. And that PTO clutch should be in the range of 2 to 4 ohms, okay? Now, if that's within 2 to 4 and you hooked up a battery or a jump pack and attached one lead to one and one lead to the other and it made a clicking noise, your clutch is fine, okay? With your own test, if it ran high or really low, it could be an indicator that the bearings internally, that everything is kind of melted together and it's shorting out inside the clutch. In that case, you're going to need new clutch. And the next thing you're going to say, Eric, what do you recommend for new clutches? All right, these are the ones that I've had a history with. I've dealt with all the OEMs, the two aftermarket Stens and Rotary, and then I also dealt with, there's a company that builds them here in the US, and I'll put it in the comments, but they put out a good clutch, and somehow they're with Stens, and it's all US made, and they're selling them for 80 to 100 bucks. Don't let price screw you, okay? Before we get anywhere, I don't have any sponsors, I don't have nothing. So I'm giving you my honest, I would buy the $89 clutch in a heartbeat because it's got the heavy duty bearing, it's got the warranty and everything else. And if you don't feel comfortable installing your PTO clutch, you can still buy it, but if you're going to take it to a repair shop, what I find that most of the time you're going to end up with is the repair shop turning you down because they need to mark up that clutch to make money on that as well. It's not all just labor. With us, not so much. You know, I don't allow customers just start bringing all their own parts in with them and stuff like that. But If somebody called me and said, Eric, I got a PTO clutch problem, I just bought the PTO clutch, but I can't figure out how to install it. Could you install it for me? It would be either where can I pick it up, or you can drop it off and we'll take a look at it and see what we can do. I will do that because I would go buy that $89 clutch and mark it up 10, 15 bucks for my time and then make the rest on labor, okay? So the only thing I'm losing is 10 to 15 bucks on buying it through eBay or Amazon or what have you. So we've ruled out the clutch, all right? If you have the clicking noise where the magnets are working and you've done an ohm test and it's in that 2 to 4, you should be good. Certain clutches have what they call air gaps. Some are adjustable, some aren't. If you happen to have like the triangle one with the bolts with the springs in it, those are adjustable. So you can tighten those down if you're getting slippage. But here, listen, hear me out, okay? We're still diagnosing. I'm not a parts replacer. And I don't want you to be a parts replacer because it gets expensive. And then when you find out that that clutch that you replaced didn't solve the problem, you're going to be trying to figure out how do I get my money back out of that clutch, which most places will not take an electrical back online. Or you're kicking yourself in the cojones because you ordered it and you jumped the gun. That's what this video is for, is keep you from jumping the gun. Do the ohms test, for continuity, do the battery or jump pack test where you're using the positive negative to make sure it's clicking. If you've done that, 2 to 4, and it clicks, this is good. If it's slipping, you can adjust the wings on the Agora clutches, the triangle clutches, all right? What next? If we've ruled out the clutch, which is the most expensive part of the whole thing, right? I try to talk to you guys about a lot of times you're looking at the symptom instead of the actual culprit, okay? And I've used the analogy of doctors, right? If you go into your doctor and you say, I got pain in my stomach, I don't know what it is, he's not going to say lay on the table and grab a scalpel and slice you open and start bringing your innards out to try to diagnose the problem. No, he's going to send you for blood work. He's going to send you to have urinalysis and probably a stool sample. I know we're getting kind of low here on the channel. And then he's going to send you to a specialist after he's ruled out everything but this. And here's this doctor that specializes in surgery for just this spot. That's what your doctor does. He's diagnosing. He is. And he's diagnosing by running tests. And that's what we're doing. We're running tests. We're the doctor. And we're looking at your PTO clutch. And as long as it clicks and the continuity is between 2 and 4, your clutch is fine. You know, the next test we're going to do is you're going to put this on the bolt, okay? And then what I want you to do is have somebody sit on the seat, put one probe on one side, one on the other, doesn't matter which side you put it on, and look to see if you're getting a solid 12 volts to this clutch. And why does that matter? Because this clutch requires 12 volt to run. And if you're sending 6 volt down through the system where you're getting low voltage, then what ends up happening in these clutches is the 12 volt is making it come tight so that you're spinning your blades and stuff, right? It's grabbing together so it hooks onto the bottom of the engine, locks on, and then the belt that does your deck starts spinning, right? But now if you're getting less than 12, which we call low voltage, what ends up happening is you could have this start slipping on you and you think, well, it's not adjustable, so I got to throw it out. Again, it's systematic. So the only way you're going to know that is first having somebody sitting on the mower while it's running and then engage the PTO to see if we've got 12 volt coming to this. The other thing you can do that it's helpful if you got two people. That's the way we run it here at the shop. Because if we have a clutch start slowing down where it doesn't turn good in the tall grass, then I want to check to see what voltage do I have coming to this. And a lot of times you're going to find out that it's low voltage. And if you have low voltage coming to the clutch, what ends up happening is the magnets can't hold on as tight. So they start lightening up, loosening up, and then they start slipping. Okay? That's all it is. It's just a magnet. So if it's getting 12 volt and you pop the PTO on, it's going to lock on the bottom of that engine. But if it's only coming through at 6 volt, 5 volt, it's not going to have the necessary voltage to hold on to that shaft good and tight. And your blades are going to slow down, if not stop. Okay? So that's one thing that we have to rule out. That are we getting a drop in voltage? And one thing that we do here at the shop, you can get one of these at Harbor Freight, Temu, I mean, eBay, Amazon. I'm going to stop saying all these prices because we don't have any sponsors. But what we do here is we hook this up to the battery, okay? And we check to see if it's in the 12 volt range with it not running. And then one of us gets on the unit and starts it up. And the other is watching this. You can actually, if the battery's sitting right in front of you, you can just reach it out and look at it yourself. If it's underneath the seat, it's a little bit more difficult, okay? But what am I doing with that? I'm checking to see if the charging system itself isn't the culprit. Are we getting the necessary voltage to energize and recharge that battery? See, the battery should only be used for starting, right? When you start a machine, you're using the battery voltage, okay? Once it starts, you should be producing enough amps and volts through the system to run everything that's on it. But what ends up happening is when you check this, it should be reading 13, 14 volts when you first start it because it'll go up higher until that battery is charged and then it'll drop back to 12. And that tells us that the stator is good, the regulator is good, and pretty much the battery's good. How does that help us? It's eliminating another group that could be causing the problem. See, now it could easily be a weak PTO switch that's going bad. They do go bad. I saw a lot of them. It could be your harness coming down through where it may have gotten hot at one point and melted some of the wires that are going down to your clutch. Because that's the next thing I'm going to ask you is, or tell you to do is actually follow that whip up through and see if you see any spots where it got hot. Okay. Now, if you throw this on and you start it up and it doesn't go up to 13, 14, then we need to look at most of them have fuses on them, okay? On my John Deere, because I've had to replace that twice, is it ended up being when my blades slowed down. I was mowing, it was working fine, and then when I shut it off, the PTO engaged it again, it wouldn't come back on. And why wouldn't it come back on? Because it was draining the battery and my charging system wasn't producing what it needed to charge that battery back up. And it was because I had a blown fuse. It was a blown circuit that wasn't allowing the juice to come back to the battery. So when I asked for it to start back up again, it didn't have enough to send 12 volt down to that clutch to grab a hold of the engine shaft that's coming down through. Now, does that make any sense? I mean, if you have any questions or comments, please add. If I'm missing something, guys, you guys that are repair guys, add. Put it in here so everybody can learn. I know that I can't answer every question, but for most part, I can answer quite a few of them. So in the end, what I want you to walk away with is eliminating the clutch, eliminating the charging system, and then following your wires, your whip back up. If you're getting 12 volt initially, or when you get on it and you start it up and it's working fine, but you disengage it and then you go to engage it again and it's not engaging and spinning fast enough, that's when you want to get a test on these ends to see what you have for voltage. Because it could simply be a voltage drop. Do the bearings go bad in PTO clutches? Yes. Do PTO clutches get hot and burn up? Yes. I've seen them on fire before from the bearings so bad that it just melted. It was just one big glop. Okay. Hopefully, this has answered some of your questions. Because what I want you to do is I want you to diagnose first before you buy that clutch. And I'm going to stick to my guns when I say 9 out of 10 clutches that are bought this day and age are unneeded. And I can tell you when I was selling hundreds of PTO clutches online a few years back, what I ended up with having a lot of issues with was customers swapping it out and having the same problem. So what they were doing is they were fixing first and then not diagnosing. And I don't, if you got a repair shop that's fixing instead of diagnosing, and I do, I see a lot of YouTube videos out there and I just want to scream sometimes because they're showing you the fixing part. They're not showing you the diagnostic of how they got to there. And I don't know how many of the bigger channels I've never seen them do a compression test. And yet they're finding all these things wrong. They're not diagnosing, they're fixing, guys. You can only, I mean, it's kind of like playing the lottery. You're bound to win something if you play long enough, right? But wouldn't it be better if you knew a sure thing? And the sure thing is diagnosing first, fix last. So, on that note, you guys have a great day. If you're still here, I'd love to have you subscribe, like, hit the bell. That helps my channel reach farther and more people. And I want to be your teacher. I want to teach you how to do this stuff so that you're not fixing, you're diagnosing. And I can tell you right now from experience, when you diagnose first, you will save money and you will also save time. I'm telling you right now, you guys have a great day. And thanks again so much for watching.